The MSP is a set of, I think it's 24 questions. You don't ask them all, depends on which ones yes and which ones no. But it's a set of questions that you have to ask to confirm that that patient is eligible to receive services paid by Medicare as their primary payer and not secondary. That's the words Medicare secondary payer. You're confirming that they're primary. Now, in order to do that, you've got to ask these questions. There are things like, is this the result of an accident? Is this a workman's comp claim? Black lung disease coverage is one of them. Does your spouse have insurance that should pay for this? Those types of things. Now, these are legitimate questions, but it's a real hassle to have to ask them because Medicare says for every inpatient stay, admission, you've got to do that in a hospital. And they consider every visit to your clinic the same as an inpatient admission because you're billing Part A for it. Now, while you may not get an MSP audit, I can assure you, because I've got clients that are going through this right now, as I'm doing this, they just completed an audit, in fact, where their FI came in, did an audit, asked for medical records for a certain list of patients, and the items that they asked for on that included the Medicare Lifetime Signature Form and MSP. Now, those folks didn't even know what MSP was from the time that this audit was being conducted on the year they were doing. It was long before I became their consultant. So they had none. And we're still waiting to see what happens. Technically, they could ask for all the money back with penalty and interest because they did not confirm the eligibility of that patient. I don't think they'll do that because the client has gotten it straightened out. They've got a method that they're using to get that information confirmed. Let's take a look at the next slide that gives you an example of a way to collect MSP information as well as some other things at patient check-in. I would suggest that you consider the possibility of having the patient answer the MSP questions, workman's comp issues, accident claims, other insurance change when they sign in upon arrival. Rather than having them sign a common sign-in sheet, a sticker method is great, but if you're going to have them sign anyway, go ahead and have some little half or one-third sheets printed to where there's plenty of room for them to sign their name, print their name, address, city, zip, phone number, today's date, and then answer these questions with a Y or an N, a yes or no. Has your insurance or Medicare, it's important you say that, insurance or Medicare coverage changed since your last appointment here? Yes or no. Is today's clinic visit the result of a workman's comp claim? Yes or no. Is today's clinic visit the result of an accident? Yes or no. What happens is when you ask those questions in that format, you've got them signing something confirming their Medicare status, that it hasn't changed, and that it's not a workman's comp or an accident claim. So from the Medicare perspective, you're covered on the MSP. Every 90 days, forget the 90-day thing, folks. There's no way you can keep track of that. Do it every time the Medicare patient comes in. Now, who should sign this little sheet? Every patient. How many times have you gotten a provider to go back to the exam room only to find out once they get there this is a workman's comp claim? And you've got different forms most of the time that you're going to use on that. Or it's an insurance claim for an accident. They were in a motor vehicle accident and someone else should pay for it. Non-Medicare patient, just a regular patient. But there's things you're going to do differently. If you had known that information up front, it would really have helped and would have saved a lot of time. Sometimes you don't know that it was a workman's comp claim until you send the patient a bill, and then 30 days, 6 months later, they come back to you and say, I'm waiting on my workman's comp settlement.